Hello and welcome. We're going to be talking tonight about creating a business plan and a budget and a lot of other things for folks that are just starting a business or maybe wanting to jumpstart a business or add new profit centers to it. So glad to have you with us. We got a good crowd coming in, so as folks come in, I'll say hello to you as you join us. It's September 19th. This is my presentation number 1134 on a journey through entrepreneurship that's lasted now over 65 years. So I appreciate you joining me and letting me join you. I'm not a lawyer or a tax accountant, just an old codger that's been in business for a long time, including today. Had a pretty good business day today, did some business in Georgia and down in Florida and sold some parts around the country. So I'm still in there plugging and appreciating the chance to do business. We are sponsored tonight by the Sampson County Community, or the Sampson Community College in Clinton, the small business center there. Sampson County being the largest county in the state, so we're always honored to do that. They've been mighty good to me through the years with my farm equipment business. But the director of the center is Bart Rice, and he's just a fine man. He helps so many entrepreneurs. He's got a good counseling staff there. So if you're in the Sampson County region and need some and would like to have some extra help for your business, let's get an appointment with Bart, and he'll do all he can to help you get going. All you got to do is give him a call at 910-900-4025, 910-900-4025. Having an in-house counselor, someone, a mentor, is a good thing to have. Bounce your ideas off of, share with you ideas. So if you're not taking advantage of the Small Business Center, let me encourage you to do so. It's just like having free advisory staff on board, and good information are available to you. My business is carverequipment.com, my retail business anyway, where I do retail selling direct to customers all over the United States with a wide range of different implements and parts for each of them. So that's my main business. I don't expect y'all to be buying much of that, but if you do, of course, I'd appreciate it. But mainly, I would like for you to visit carverequipment.com because I use it as a training tool. And so you'll be able to see lots of ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of and put it to work on your website. If you registered earlier, then you received your handouts hopefully by email. 11 of them different, very diverse handout group. The main one is the one dated 1134 because that is an outline of tonight's presentation. So if you don't print something out before you come into class, it's good to print that one out. It's got the number on it because it'll be a lot easier to make notes on. Got a lot of good information here for you, so I hope you'll take time to do it. I want you to know that my thinking is that we all are made to do a whole lot more than what we do. And I don't want you to give up on me, and I'm certainly not going to give up on you. Our mutual helpfulness for each other will go a long way. And all of us from time to time need encouragement, and I'll try to be here for you. Just let me know how I can help you. These programs are just full of lots of information, and it's kind of like going to a family reunion, as Eltrice was just mentioning. There's just more food there than you can eat and consume or even carry home in doggy bags. That's the way these programs are. I really load them up with information. So take what you can, take what you can absorb, and then read your handouts and revisit on the video. If there's a certain area you want to make sure you get it down just right. In other words, I don't give you a lot to put on your plate. Take what you can and enjoy it, and you're not obligated to do anything with it, but if you do want to put it to work, it's just fine. Some of you are going to really the extra mile this time, and I'll share that with you, but whether or not you use this or do your homework, that's totally up to you. But if you do want to jump in it and make it work, a lot of people are doing it, and I want to share with you what's been happening for the last 2 weeks. Since we started this series, we're meeting a lot of good people, and if you keep joining us on Tuesday and Thursday nights, you'll have a chance to do some fabulous networking. I keep up with attendance, and if you attend at least 5 of these 7 courses or classes, you'll automatically be eligible for a certificate. And you do more, then you might be able to earn a graduation to the academy and a membership there. So thank you for joining. I'll update this each week, and we'll keep up with attendance so we can get your certificates for you. So who's been coming on board? Sarah's been with us from over in Nash County. She is a wonderful young lady who's doing a Google business profile business to help entrepreneurs get over the hump with Google, and that is a very good thing for us to do. She's becoming a Google expert, and looking forward to being able for her to help entrepreneurs. She came forward with her mission, vision, and promise statements. Let me encourage y'all to do the same. Very good statements, and certainly do appreciate that. Sarah also went forward and did a 6-month planner. You'll see we talk about that tonight. She did a 6-month planner and then carried it out to a 5 years goal plans to help her chart her course as she's getting her new business started. Brooke May is over in Whitaker's. She is a chemist from Vietnam who came over 10 years ago and has become a chemist here in North Carolina at one of the food companies. And now she's branching out and following a dream into having her own flower farm. And True's done a good job and really jumped in and did all of her homework in 1 week. I don't know that I've ever had anyone that did it all in 1 week, but she's been pretty amazing. Let me show you what she did. First of all, she shared with us her Facebook ads, Spring of Blooms. You can find her on Facebook, and it's really interesting if you want to do that. The business is called Flowers on Arbor Lane, so she's got really good images and colors and such as that. She went the extra mile to go ahead and do her video. I want to share that with you, so if you can, turn your volume up so you can hear True talk to us. I'm going to unplug my speaker while she's doing it. Just a second. Let's see if we can hear now. Turn your volume up.
Hi, my name is True. I was born in Vietnam, and I came to the U.S. in 2015, so I've been here for
Can y'all hear her?
years now.
Give me a thumbs up if you can.
Quite a bit from Carver to New Mexico, and finally settled in North Carolina with my husband in 2021.
Okay, thank you, Altrus.
Working as a chemist in Wilson in a food chemistry company. I've always had an interest in agriculture and occasionally regretted that I didn't sign up for horticulture or plant biotechnology back in college. Now that my company is considering moving away, I am thinking about pursuing my dream to have a flower farm. And this year I've ran a trial to gauge customer interest, and it seemed to be going well. So given that my expectations were quite low, I'd like to be more serious with my idea, and that's why I joined the class. I look forward to growing my idea and setting up customer.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it? A young lady came over 10 years ago from Vietnam and already a chemist doing a good work in a local industry, and plus starting her own business. She'll be hiring employees and helping other people get jobs as well. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think these are the type of immigrants that we want. We should welcome immigrants that bring so much to our economy and help us all have a better life and a better economy. Anyone that's saying that all immigrants are bad, they just haven't ever met True, have they? But True's went ahead and did her profit centers. Especially proud of her for developing her profit centers around ones that are bringing new customers, traffic builders, big ticket sales, and repeat business. So she designed her work so that as she's putting her business plan together, everything will match up, and you'll see how this plays later on. She did fantastic mission, vision, and promise statements, so let me encourage y'all to do the same. Got us some really good images of the flowers she's growing out at Whitaker's. If you don't know where Whitaker's is, it's about 15 miles north of Rocky Mount in the infield area before you get to Roanoke Rapids area. She also went on and did her 40 drill skills, rewrote them as to how they would apply to her business. And if you haven't ever done this, or you're young and just getting started in business, this will really help you get some good tools in your DNA tool belt for small business management. So thank you, True, for getting that done. Next, we'll talk about Tamara Thomas. She's a doctor of religion, a practicing minister, and she's starting her own consulting business. Tamara's a great lady. We're glad to have her with us, and she's doing a lot of work as well. She's in Raleigh and just has so many skills, including she's an accomplished violinist. And I'm not going to play this because it's long, but it is really impressive. When you get the video tomorrow, I would encourage you to play this if you would on your PowerPoint. She's really something else. She's done her business plan, working on it extensively, staying in touch with me and making great progress. Really proud of folks who are determined to get these businesses up and running. Alvin Varian joined us last week. He's a headhunter. He finds jobs for people. So if you're looking for something different, you might let him know what you're looking for. But he's over in the Rocky Mount area as well. Done a good job with his presentations. I got a nice website he's up and running with, so I hope it does really well from him. David Engel is in the tax business. He does tax returns for folks. He's in Marshall, Weaverville, North Carolina, over in the mountains closer to Asheville. I've been doing it a long time and wants to revamp his business. Did his profit centers, sent those on in, did his mission vision statement. Very good, and proud of David. He's got nice looking websites. Improving on those all the time, so we all can learn from each other by seeing ideas that folks are coming forward with. Got his menu of services, which is really important to let people know what he does. Miko Harris is in Greensboro. She's just getting started with her new business. She's calling it Miss Mika's Celebrations, where she's going to be selling different items to folks to help them do celebrations and parties. She did her MVP statements and very well done. Here's a picture of Mika at one of her pop-ups and some of the things that she's selling. Just very, very proud of her work, and I'm looking forward to seeing that business grow and go forward. She's got little favor type things that she would have at a party to make them extra special for your guest. Tasha Jones is in Rocky Mountain. She's been for a long time doing what she calls boxes of love. That's where she'll fill up a box of different items for you and send it to someone as a gift for you if that's what you want to do. You can visit her on Facebook seeing that. But her real aim for the academy here and for this course, she's really interested in starting a new nonprofit in Rocky Mount for teenagers and children. It's going to be called the All-in-One Center, and I think that's a great name for it. So I've been sending Tasha some information about nonprofits, and we'll talk about it some tonight as well. So we can help people with nonprofits. I'm not a pro there, and there are plenty of people that are. But once you get your organization set up, the same fundraising and promotion and marketing ideas are the same with profit as well as nonprofit. But Tasha's done a good job on getting started with getting the foundation work done for her new business. We'll spend some extra time tonight talking about Robbie James in Roseboro. Matthew, you may know Robbie and do business with him there. But Robbie is the owner of James Trading Company. I've had the pleasure of meeting him several years ago and chat with him. And so glad he's joining our courses this month. Robbie's doing a lot right. I mean, a whole lot right. He is in a small town like I am, and fighting large companies. Your competition is really strong, so you have to be extra good to keep your head above water. But Robbie's done a lot right, and I want to share with you that we all can get some good ideas from him. Got a great logo there. He's got a good Facebook ads and such as that. So I'm going to talk to you about not only what he's doing online, but what he's doing in the community. And when it comes to relationship building, which is what this series really promotes, that work you do in the community is very important as well. So as Robbie is promoting his business, he indeed is promoting relationship building within the community. That's a good pictures, good images on his Facebook ad and such as that. Hey, Stephanie, glad to have you join us tonight. So I hope you hang with us, and we'll talk to you a little later maybe. But in Robbie's presentations all across the board on Facebook and on his website, He is about relationship building with local customers, and that is so important to bring people back. He has a tremendous, great diversity of products. That takes a lot of work and a lot of management to keep up with it. But if what you're looking for is not at James Trading Company, all you got to do is mention it to him. It'll be there next time you come in, and that is good marketing. We'll talk about that too. Very proud of Robbie for promoting his good name brands. The lesson here to learn is whatever you're selling, the better the product, the better known it is, the better name brand, the better national logo and recognition it has, then the more chance you're going to have of bringing customers in, because these logos will sell themselves and bring people to your door. So if you have these type of logos, you want to present them and get them out there where people can see them. And Robbie does a good job with that. He also has a good page where it's easy to maneuver his website. Really a lot better than mine. I don't try to copy some of his ideas to do that. But I really like down at the bottom of the page, he is saying that if we don't have it, tell us what you need. And next week when we're talking about marketing, that's going to be a key factor in that you can stay in business longer as long as you listen to your customers and are always kind of talking with them and surveying them about what they need product-wise and service-wise. Matthew, you may have already experienced that in the fire equipment business, that things are changing, rules are changing and such as that. So we have to keep talking to our customers, find out what's coming down the road so we can position our business so that we'll be able to serve those people when they're coming. Having your business listed as my business on Google, an account there, is really important. This is what it looks like when you're shopping the internet and you see an ad like this. This is my business on Google. And every business can do it. Altrice, you can do it. Sarita, you can do it. This helps people find you, give reviews, learn about your business, see pictures. In other words, it's a mini website. And it's always there because it's owned by Google. So give some serious consideration to making sure you've got your own My Business on Google site. Especially interested in Robbie and James Trading and noticing that they had over 80 reviews. 80 reviews. I know they got over 80 reviews because when I did this, I just added one. You can see where I added a review on there myself. And what was most impressive was he's got 4.7. The best you can get is 5. That's really good. And the note, if you're going to be active at the Google account, you're going to get some less than positive reviews sometime, and it's important that you're on top of it and jump right in and answer that customer and satisfy their needs. Robbie does that really well, and I was really proud of him for doing it. As a matter of fact, I put a review up there late one afternoon. The next morning when I got up, he had already sent me a very nice response. So staying on top of your business is key. You got to stay on top. Notice that at Facebook, Robbie's got 2,300 followers for James Trading Company. What does that mean, the number of followers you have? Why is it important that you're on Facebook and you promote your business there? Because with 2,300 followers, every time he puts a post at his Facebook business page, several thousand people are going to see it, and he also has the option to share it or to boost it and move that up to tens of thousands of people to see your ad. The more followers you have, the more automatic business you're going to get. So how do you get more followers? You keep adding customers all the time and encouraging people to follow you. So that's a goal to have, and this is living proof that a small business in Roseboro, North Carolina can have over 2,000 followers. I really like the fact that he's got 2,200 likes and 2,300 followers. That is an amazing record, and they need your congratulations. I'll be teaching next week, as I have in the past, how important it is that all of us are aware of how the seasons affect our business. Right now, the autumn season is coming in, Halloween, falling leaves, people thinking about the holidays just a few months away. As small business folks, we need to play into the seasonal marketing factors that really bring people to us. Some people are only in the market during certain seasons. And if your ads are geared to those seasons, you'll certainly get more and more business. And seasons just aren't about the weather. It's also about like Father's Day, the different holidays, Mother's Day. Robbie's doing a great job playing into that. If you have a business location and you can bring food trucks or entertainment to your location from time to time, people who didn't plan to come and do business with you may be following this entertainment or maybe following this particular food truck. And if you let them set up in your parking lot and help promote them, people that come to do business with them will probably drift in and start doing business with you. This is good key business that costs you nothing and brings you a lot of good exposure. So congratulations, Robbie, on doing that. Finally, I want you to notice that if you are in a community and a part of it, I encourage you to do what you can to help promote community entertainment and programs they have to improve the quality of life in your community. I'm noticing here that this is a group of entertainers that are coming into Roseboro to entertain the public, probably on a live after 5 type event or something like that. And they're set up there on the back of a truck. Well, heck, that's just a truck, right? Well, when I had my equipment businesses and done, I had trucks I could let people use from time to time. So we see the entertainment there. People from the community are coming and enjoying the free entertainment, looking around and doing that. But you know what? When they look at that truck, what do they see? They see Robbie's logo there, and it's a reminder to anyone in the community that comes to that event. Robbie James and James Trading Company is an integral part of what makes this a better place to live. Anytime a small business can send that message, what are you doing to let people know you're trying to make this a better place to live? If it's just as simple as letting someone use your truck and you just happen to have a very nice sign on the side. So as you get started and we move on forward in our courses here, this is course number 2 of 7 weeks. Matthew and Spanny and Altris, send me information and pictures about you and your business, and I'll do all I can to help promote it, and we'll learn together and share with your fellow entrepreneurs here. This is a good family way to get started, and we'll try to move right on into it. You'll get a survey tonight or tomorrow. Please take 60 seconds and fill it out and send it back to Bart. He'd really like to hear from you about what you thought of the program. Group chat. Let's talk about that. If you don't mind, let's find your chat button. Find your keyboard if you can. And what I like to do is to do a little bit of keyboard exercises in our courses because it really helps. It just really helps you remember things when you take the time to type it in and do that. I appreciate y'all signing in already. So here we go. What's your favorite dessert? If you had a chance to have dessert right now, what would you order? Well, someone type in banana pudding for me. I'd appreciate it because that's my number one. And what is yours? Strawberry shortcake, pineapple upside down cake. What's your favorite dessert, Matthew? Tell us about it. Anybody want to type in over there? Yeah, here we go. Banana pudding too. Or you typing that in for me? Maybe that's a good thing. All right, lemon cake. I love lemon cake as well. So what's the dessert all about? We need to remember in business, as we're communicating with our customers, we want to have a sweet taste in our mouth. We want to leave a good flavor in their mouth as if we're serving them a dessert that they really want. So our attitude in talking to customers is, what can I do to bring you a dessert and make you happy? That is a good way to do it. So I'm going to ask you, when you're sleeping, do you want a really quiet, cool room, or do you want some background noise? You want some noise, or you want it absolutely quiet? You want it dark? Tell me what the best sleeping situation is for you. Mine is, I like a dark room, and I like it cold enough I need to cover up. And so that's my favorite. So here we go. That's some background noise. A lot of people like background noise. My wife really does, and such as that. TV on, fan on. I go along with that too, Matthew. Sometimes I'll do that, but when I'm ready to go to sleep, I got to turn that TV off, but the fan can stay on. Why am I talking about this? Again, we are into relationship building with our customers, and this is a feel-good, warm and fuzzy type thing. We need to talk to our customers and ask them questions and start to learn more about them. And simple questions like this, they won't mind talking to you, opening up and have a chit-chat and start a relationship sometimes with the easiest questions that you can ask. So don't hesitate to do this. Plan to learn to hear what your customers are saying a lot better. So now I want to ask you one, and then the truth will set you free here. When you get up in the morning and leave your bedroom, do you make the bed up or not? Do you make up the bed or not? Yes or no, make it up or not? Now, how about that? Give me some yes and no's, and this one's kind of important to you. I got a yes. I got a yes so far. I do make that bed up. Now, the truth sets you free. Maybe you might even say not every day, but do you make that bed up? So what is important about this? Why would I ask this question? Well, I need to ask you one more thing, though. When you do make it up, do you make it really tight? Like make it tight, or you just kind of throw it together? Which way do you do it? Well, I'm talking about this because it's pretty much been talked about through the years that if you can start a day off doing something right and finish it, a finished, completed product, that is a good way to start your day off. And one of the easiest things we can do is to make up our bed and do it right. So we're saying to ourselves, as soon as we start in our day, I am making things happen and completing projects. That puts you in a mental state of positive thinking for the rest of the day. Just that little simple thing can make a difference in how the rest of your day goes. I believe that. So anyone that's been in the military and gone through boot camp or stayed on base in the military know that when you get up in the mornings, you're supposed to make your bed up or your cot really well, so tight that if you flip a quarter up and it comes down, it actually bounces on the sheets. So it's just not make it up a little bit. It is do it right, keep it tight. Why do they want you to do that? Because they want the discipline and everybody to start the day out finishing projects the right way. And that's pretty darn special, and it's a good point. Something you might want to think about and apply. It has helped me through the years. If you attend at least 5 of our classes, you will earn a certificate. And Sarita is with us tonight, Sarita Sampson over in Clinton, and she does our certificate work and a beautiful work. So hopefully we'll have a lot more to make at the end of this season. My job is to be assertive, and that's an important word, assertive. And assertive means motivate. So I'm out here to try to motivate you, not step on your toes, but help you work. You go forward. We have a word each week as we go through, words that will help us stimulate our thinking and maybe be a little bit more effective in our leadership training. Last week, the word started with S. Started with S. Anybody remember what that was? Type it in on chat if you remember what that first word was. I'll give you reminders as I send stuff to you. But the word was what? Does someone want to type that in, what the word last week was? Well, maybe y'all weren't here, so I'll send you that. The word was shrewd, and shrewd has a very positive connotation with what I'm talking about here, because I'm thinking about we want to be more shrewd. We want to be astute. We want to be savvy. We want to be clever. We want to be wise. We want to be sharp. We just don't want to be floating down the river, don't care. We do care, and we do want to listen, and we do want our brains in gear, and working harder to become more astute, and so that we will become more and better entrepreneurs. The word this week is mindfulness. Mindfulness, and I haven't used that word a whole lot through the years, but I'm using it tonight, and we're going to use it more often. Mindful is being in a state of awareness. In other words, we want to keep our radar turned on. We want to keep our radar turned on, to have all of our brain power that we don't use a lot of, myself being mostly included in that, is that we can turn on more power with our brain and just being aware and mindful of what's going on around us. Where will that play a major, major helpfulness in your business life? It will be mindful of what customers are saying to you and what they're not saying. Sometimes you'll get a lot more understanding from a customer by what they don't say. But you have to have your radar turned on to see that. You'll notice their body language. You have to have your radar turned on about like that. And you need to have your tool belt in play. Learning these items in these classes is one thing, but having them right close by in your tool belt so you can reach down and pull out the skill you need when you need it, that's being mindfulness. And I want us all to try to strive to do better in that. I need a lot of help with that and can improve my situation with more mindfulness, and I want y'all to as well. Consciousness, attention, awareness are the big deals here. So keep that in mind as you go forward, okay? Living in the moment with your radar turned on. Being shrewd and savvy, you'll be a lot more mindfulness as you put all these things into play for yourself. Your homework challenges are coming to you each week in your handouts. Did you notice that last week we had several people that absolutely completed their homework list in one list and are asking me to develop more to send to them, and I'm so looking forward to doing that. So do that homework. You don't have to do it, but if you want to be an associate in the academy, get a graduation certificate, that's some of the requirements. I want to encourage you to find me at Facebook. I want you on Facebook so you can promote your business there. Just as we have seen what Robbie has been able to accomplish, it's just amazing. We all need to do that and do a better job with it. But if you will, I'd appreciate you finding me on Facebook so I can keep up with what y'all are doing. I just posted a brand new cover for the Facebook page for the Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates. I'd like for y'all to visit that Facebook page and we'll join it and promote it and be a part of it. A lot of fresh faces up here, and we're certainly glad to have y'all on board. Just did a whole new piece of faces up there that y'all have just seen what these folks are doing in their businesses. Here's what my Facebook page looks like. So if you type in Steve Carver, there's a bunch of them in there. But when you come up and you look at the different options, mine will be the one with the blue sky with a sunny background, okay? So what is your job in this plan? I'm going to keep it real simple for you. Your job is to find the endurance to stay in business. Your job is to stay in the game. And it's a tough job sometimes. And no matter how long you've been in business, whether you're just getting started or 65 years like I have, sometimes there's some tough times, and you got to have the intestinal fortitude. You ever heard that before? Intestinal fortitude? That's the four-letter word for guts. That's right, intestinal fortitude. So stay in the game, because in entrepreneurship, if you can stay in the game, you will learn to find points that helps you become more profitable and have a lot more sustainability. So a lot of what I'm saying tonight and in the next few weeks will be tips to help you stay in the game when times are good and times are bad. 40 drill skills will go a long way to do it. That's one of your handouts. In your handout, there's a video link for each one of them. I want to encourage you to go to them and do them. Do like Truce did and rewrite them all last week to suit her needs, and you'll be amazed. And we've already talked about 6 of them last week, so I'm not going to go back over them. You can look at your videos and see that. But let's pick up tonight and pick up with number 7. 3 letters, really important, and I'd like for you to type them in to help us remember. Let's go to your chat board and type in the three words, by the way. By the way. And as you're typing, I'm going to tell you something. If you're planning on getting a tattoo tomorrow, go ahead and get you one that says, by the way. Yeah, if you're planning on remembering 3 words for the rest of your life and not forget any of them in business, by the way are the important ones. Why is that? Because by the way is the key words to upselling and cross-selling. By the way are the key words to stacking your profits. So important, so elementary, but so many people just don't know about it and don't do it. So what about talking about, we were talking about earlier, different profit centers that you're going to have. And we're going to have at least 5 profit centers in our business and maybe 25. But we need profit centers that are lined up in a dot, in a circle, so they roll, so they're smooth, so they're easy to connect. Profit centers that we can sell one to a customer and then automatically say to them, Altrice, and by the way, we also got this. And if you like that, Sarita, by the way, we can also do this. And by the way, this, Matthew, and the more that we can by the way customers, we're seeing our profits go straight up. So pay attention to that. Remember this, and we'll play on it big time as we go along in our series here. By the way. Number 3, what are the 3 words, the 3 rules we talked about last week that always catch fish? And when you're fishing in the ocean, how can you always know you're going to catch fish? And the 3 rules were: keep fresh bait in the water, keep fresh bait in the water, and number 3, keep fresh bait in the water. Well, what's that got to do with business? It's got everything to do with business, because we're not catching fish, we're catching customers. And the way we're going to catch customers is going to be with the same 3 rules. Keep fresh promotions out there in front of your customers. Keep sending out new, fresh promotions to your customers. Keep sending out fresh, new promotions to your audience, to your database. There's no substitute for it. And if you're not doing it, I can tell you with no doubt that you are coming nowhere close to reaching your business's potential. So remember that we have to keep sending those promotions out. Next week, week 4, the name of the session is, how do we find customers? How can we find customers? And the answer is easy. Doing it's not so easy, but the answer is easy. How do you find customers? And the answer is, help them find you. Help them find you. How do you find customers? Help them find you. This basic strategy will say to yourself, I want my business to have a marketing campaign that is bringing in customers like a magnet draws in people. Remember all those things that we saw Robbie doing at James Trading? All those things are designed to bring customers in. If you don't have a marketing campaign that is doing that, your only other option is, number 1, just take a chance that they'll find you. Or number 2, go out and beat the bushes all the time and chase customers one at a time. And that works sometimes, but it really takes a lot of energy and a lot of time, which usually us entrepreneurs trying to get our business started can find a better way, and that is helping the customers find us. And in week 4, I'll show you that. A fundamental now, Altrice, and now you may know this already. I know Sarita does, because she's told me this before. Matthew, this is really big time for your type of business. Your business and my business cannot be all things to all people. No, we don't even need to try to be that. That means we don't need to try to advertise to the whole world and get everybody to come to see us, because everybody is not going to be our customer. That's right. But what we have to really focus on, our business must be everything to some people. Our business must be everything to some people. That's who we want to focus on, is that target group of customers that are most likely to become our regular, loyal, long-term, and raving fan customers. We must be everything to some customers, and guess what? When you are, those people will become your raving fans. Your raving fans. And next week, I'm going to give you the secrets to how to create raving fan customers. Now, what is a raving fan? Let's review there. That's a customer that does business with you and then spreads the good news to everybody else. In other words, they start becoming a walking marketing machine just for you. And I'll give you a little footnote here, and that is, your business is doing great, I hope. And maybe you're starting to get in some extra money. Maybe you're building up a little cash reserve. Well, let me tell you that I don't want you to start paying off debts that you've got for long-term debts with your short-term cash flow, because it will put you out of business. You need to, if you've got your debts in place and they're paying their own way, then you just keep paying them on like you plan. Don't put your business in jeopardy by paying your cash flow down to the point that you can't handle unexpected expenses. And I've seen this happen lots of times with new businesses, so keep that in mind. You keep that cash reserve all that you can, because you're going to need it one day. In the series now, we're going to move into more marketing and advertising conversations. Let's kind of get this squared away. Marketing is the long-term picture. Let's use that word talking long-term overall plan. Advertising, let's tag the word target advertising on that. And we're going to start considering advertising being what we're doing for specific programs or products or services. At a certain time, it's going to start and it's going to end. In other words, an advertising is a campaign with a timeline on it that we can stop and start, and lastly, monitor whether or not it was successful or not. We'll do that, and that's important. That way you'll know which part of your advertising is working and which isn't. But it's all part of the marketing plan. So the advertising budget is a piece of the marketing pie. Keep that in mind, a piece of the marketing pie. Later on, we're going to talk about different parts of our budgets to do. Who is your toughest, meanest, strongest competitor? Who's going to cause you the most problems? The answer is you and your distractions. Who is my biggest competitor? It's me and my distractions. Because what we don't get done is what's hurting our business. So how can we deal with that? Because this is the truth and there's no doubt about it. How can you fight that? And that the simple answer is set priorities. But that's not easy to do. But we don't have to set priorities if we expect something different to happen tomorrow and next week and this year, if we don't do something different in what our planning is. And that doing something different is setting priorities every morning, getting things done, and putting other things aside. Sometimes we're going to have to put aside some things and to stay in touch with what we have to do for our business and for our customers. So learn to set those priorities. There is a tool here called fair market value. That is a legal term. We can set prices, and we see newspapers and TVs and radios just full of advertising and pricing and marketing numbers just coming out all the time in a great big flood. But there's only one price. There's only one value that is constant and legal, and that is the value called fair market value. So as an entrepreneur, you really want to have fair market value as one of the tools in your tool belt to help guide you. What do you mean guide you? As we're buying and selling products and services, you want to always remember that our goal to keep us in business is to purchase things below fair market value so that we'll be able to sell above fair market value. And the thing that keeps us constant is our knowledge and understanding of what fair market value is and being able to determine that. So I'll ask you as we go through the series, and this will be one of your quiz questions at the end for the Academy, is define fair market value. And so here's your answer right on the screen there. I don't go through it quickly. The price in terms of money that property will bring if exposed on the open market between a willing seller and a willing buyer, neither one of them under any pressure, and both of them are fully informed about the product. And when those two fellows or ladies can agree on a price, that's the fair market value. And it's always going to be there. Now, who in this land of ours makes a living? What is their vocation? Those people who all they basically do is determine fair market value. Who are they? Well, they're called appraisers. Yeah, real estate and other type of appraisers. It's a really good thing to be. And you can be a certified appraiser and give fair market value understandings. And I suggest that you consider that as not only maybe not a vocation, but it could be a side hustle for you, but it will definitely be a great business tool for you to have and understand how to become a certified appraiser. So give that some thought. Matthew, I mentioned to you in your business where you're moving around looking at equipment that become aged and sometimes people don't need it anymore. Maybe you'll find things that are for sale, and maybe you might have a resale business of fire equipment. through the years, especially when we were very large in irrigation equipment, I sold lots and lots of irrigation type fittings for pumps and pipes and quick couplers and gaskets and things like that to folks in businesses related to fire equipment. So very good, lucrative business, and a good marketing campaign could be very strong for you. Knowing the value of things can be a big help for you. If you are not familiar with the irrigation side of firefighting equipment, send me a note and I'll chat with you about that. L&H. L&H stands for look and hook. And that is the type of marketing and advertising, primarily advertising, I want you to adopt. This is my thing, the L and the H, the look and the hook. And that is when we put some new advertising out there in the world, we want it to look good so that people will take time to read it. The challenge in advertising is to have people stop at it long enough to read it instead of clicking through. The next thing, once we get them reading, we want to have a hook in that advertisement. And a hook is a call to action. That is a statement or a coupon or a discount or a timing type thing that makes people say, hey man, I need to take advantage of this right now. And when you have the look and the hook, you'll be able to run your ads and know immediately if they're working or not because you'll be able to gauge the responses. So look and hook is a way that you don't waste money. It gives you the ability to stop doing ads that don't work and keep doing the ones that do. So that's your that is your drill skills for tonight. Again, look at your handout and go forward with it. Now we'll move on to some business planning type things. If you've been in business a while, buying and selling and taking in money and paying bills for several years, and you've got a good basis to go ahead and put a budget together and probably already know basically what you're spending, what you're bringing in. And you can take that information and very easily put your business plan together with your budget. But if you hadn't been in business for 2 or 3 years, this is a new challenge. So let's get down to the basics, to the elementaries. Basic budget is just like when we were in high school and we had X amount of money to deal with, and it was a very small amount, and we had to budget what we were going to spend here and there. X amount of money for books, for clothes, for entertainment, for lunch money, for savings, for church, or such. So it was real easy then. Now it's going to become a little bit more difficult, but you know what? It's still the same basics. It's still the same basic budget. So come along with me. Let's think now. Let's just think that we're all in the same game here. And right now we're dealing with $7,000 worth of revenue coming in. We're going to look at this green budget right here. $7,000 revenue coming in. And in business and in our lives, there's 2 categories of how we consider the money we spend or the money we budget. There are those items that we need, and then there are those items that we want. And that's how we spend our money. And as we're making money, we've also maybe got some debts that we have to pay. So we know that we're going to have to budget some money to pay our debts. So in this example right here, we got $4,200 to pay for things we need. We're going to spend $2,100 for things we want, 30%. And we're going to put aside 10%, $700 towards savings, or we're going to pay 10% towards our debts, $700. So that's what we're living with now, and we want to do better. We want to do better. We want to have more money for things we want and need and pay our debts off quicker. So how do we do that? Well, we come up with a budget. We write down what we got now, and then we write down to where we want to go. And where we want to go is to move our revenues up to $10,000, add $3,000. So what do we got to do? If we had $10,000 in revenue and we kept our expenses about the same, then we would be able to still spend that $4,200 on things we need, but now spend $4,800 on things we want and put away more savings or pay more debt. So improving our situation usually in life and in business means bring in more revenue, right? Either bring in more revenue or cut expenses. But right now, we're kind of bare bones on what we're doing, so we've got to bring in some more revenue. That's what we do in business, and I'll be showing you how to do that. So we're writing a business plan, and I want you to know that business plans are written and then rewritten and rewritten. They're never the same. We've got about 5 steps we're going to consider tonight. What is that plan? Why do we want it? Should we have a planner to help us put down some mileposts and do a map? What are models and income for? What are models for income and expenses? It's important that you leave tonight having a good understanding of that. And then how are we going to assemble, piece these models together to end up with a piece of paper that's got an outline for our business plan? The good news is maybe you don't have a business plan. And if you don't, with your handout that I sent to you and what we're going to do on screen here tonight, you can, at the end of this program, with a little bit of work, put together a business plan and print it out. So look forward to doing that. It is not that difficult. I don't want you writing a business plan to give you that dreaded disease that we call analysis paralysis, right? Yeah, analysis paralysis is no good. We're going to move on to do something different about that. So why do you want to have that business plan? Before you invest your time and money, big time, let's see what the plan looks like, maybe to help us understand better. If we're not encouraging investors to help us, they want to see a plan, for sure. But mainly it's all about helping you chart a course that guides you away from unexpected pitfalls and expenses and tells us what's left. What's left after we subtract our expenses from our income. And I know that we're guessing. It's a guessing game, scientific, wild duck guessing, no doubt about it. But it's still important that we get started to give you an idea of what it'll look like. Now, maybe what you're thinking about doing, the reason you're with us tonight, is maybe you want to add a side hustle to your business. In other words, you want to keep doing what you're doing, but you'd like to add on something else to make things a little better. Maybe start a catering business or add a buying and selling of different firefighting equipment, or maybe doing some specialized pop-up work or advertising work in Clinton. So that might be a side hustle for you. So you need to decide, is this thing that you're most interested in right now, is it a side hustle, or is it a full-scale part-time business, or is it a full-scale full-time business? Because each one of these will bring in a different factors when we look at doing our business plan later on. And is this work that you're doing going to be an additional income for you, or is it going to be your only income? Or is it going to be part of your income for your second or third job? In other words, it's really important for you. And that's going to say to you just how much focus and dedication you need to give for it. Is what you're doing going to be income to provide food and shelter for more independence that you might have, more children? If so, we need to give that consideration as to the seriousness that you need to go after this. Side hustle factors have some good parts about it. One is if you've already got an established budget, an established plan for your financial life, then bringing in a side hustle will be just like adding another profit center for you. Not a full-scale business, because everything else isn't going to change. You're just going to focus on this profit center. That's a good thing, and it makes it less complicated as we go forward. So the marketable profit center would be the side hustle you're adding. You're going to keep doing the other things that you've been doing. So your income models will become a whole lot less complicated. But there's a major issue here that I want you to be concerned about. Starting a side hustle and letting it take up so much time and so much of your energy that you ignore what you're supposed to be looking after your main job with benefits and salary, and you start jeopardizing your main income because of this side hustle you're doing, that's not a good thing. And as a coach, I want to tell you, you have to be careful for that and manage it and not get in too big of a hurry, taking too big of steps. I want us to keep moving forward, but I always want you to have that in mind. Don't take chances with a sure bet. Don't take chances with your sure bet. Be careful as you're doing this. How can we kind of get started and get into to tangibles now. One of the best ways is let's put together a 6-month planner where that we list down the things that we want to achieve during the next 6 months to help us get to our goal. If you're starting a brand new business, 6 months is a pretty short term to go from start to finish. But as an example, we'll use that. As you do these plans that suit your particular needs, you will rearrange it to suit the business plan that you have or the timeline that you have. But let's just say that all of us together in business, we're going to start us a new one. And we're getting started right now. So by October 15th, or in other words, 30 days from now, I want us to determine and have a list of all the products and services that we're going to sell. I'm asking each of y'all, as part of your assignments, to come up with a list of your marketable profit centers, the different things that you're going to be doing. And think about putting some price tags beside them so we can have an idea of the revenue it will bring in. Really important. Create that menu. Next, by November 15th, let's have a list of our targeted customers and how we're going to reach them. A list of our targeted customers and how we're going to reach them. In week 4, we'll talk big time about that. That's why we put it off here 60 days. So by the end of week 4, you'll have a good understanding of how to do this. Also, before November 15th, let's have a really good foundation idea of what our startup costs are going to be. The initial money it's going to cost us. That's how much money we need in addition to what we have. But while we're doing this, let's make a list of what you've already invested in your business. What you've already invested in your business. It's important that we do that so that you can have a foundation of what you've already done, and it's really important that you do it about the investments you've made, because that will be part of your company's net worth. It will see where you'll be able to show to investors or other people that you have already been investing in your business and you got this much money tied up in it. The good news is when your business starts making pretty good money, it will be able to pay you that money back because you are loaning. You're making a loan to your company, and the company needs to pay you back. And as it's doing it, you won't have to pay tax on that money. That'll be tax-free money coming to you. In addition, the company can pay you interest on that money that you've loaned it, and it should if it's making profit. Now, when you take that interest money from your company, that will be taxable income, but it's a write-off for the company, so it's kind of a wash, but it helps you get some money from the company back into your personal account. Something good to think about there. Now, 60 days down the road, in November 15th, 90 days down the road, it's time that we think about, let's get our banking situation squared away. I want you to keep your business money separate than your private money. And to do that, you will need to have a business checking account. To have a business checking account at the bank, you'll have to have an EIN number, an employee identification number. So that'll be one of the reasons that people get the EIN number. That's a freebie. It doesn't cost you anything. But when you start a business, it's kind of like having a baby. And when we have a baby, it gets a Social Security number. When you start a business, it gets an EIN number. So that number will stay with you for a long, long time, but you'll have to get it. Doing your banking, you're going to need to select the location, who you want to bank with, and I suggest you do business with a bank. They can offer you some good credit card services, can offer you some good possibly credit line services, and a bank that can do wire transfers depending on the business you're in. These are not good service factors that are important to you. Thinking about a location, you don't have a bricks and mortar business or an office, it's time to list all that down. Where's it going to be and what's it going to cost you, and such as that. Now, moving away from the bricks and mortar or the tangible stuff, let's think about your particular situation and the skills that you have. I'm going to share with you right now that the more negotiating skills you have and the more forecasting skills you have, the better off you're going to be to grow your business. Folks just getting started maybe hadn't had any training in forecasting and negotiating and selling. I want you to consider doing that. There's a reason that 10% of the salespeople sell 90% of the stuff that's sold. That's because those who know how to do it best just take the market away from everybody else. And being savvy and being shrewd and being mindfulness is telling you right now through my voice, be the best you can be with negotiating, forecasting, and selling skills. I'll help you with a lot of that, but most of that is going to be you going after it yourself to help you close the best deals in win-win situations so that you make the profit that you need, the customer gets the products that they need, and everybody's happy with a win-win situation. That's our goal. Everybody being happy with a win-win situation and a relationship that keeps people coming back to your business. All right, that was 90 days out. 120 days out, getting close to opening that business, time to start doing some marketing. Advanced marketing is important. Low cost, regular ads out there, letting people know that something good is coming, building their mindset, teaching them to become familiar with your name. By doing this early, that means when it's time to do the big bucks and do the big promotions, you won't have to spend so much money. Very important. I'll teach you how to do that. You want to make sure that you're meeting all the government codes in your area, the different codes. And wherever you're at, you can go to the internet and type in the name of your community. And if it's a registered town in the state, it will have a website probably. And on those websites, they've got all their codes listed. If maybe you can't find what you're looking for, then they will have a phone number there, someone you can call. The good news is, small businesses small communities, towns welcome new small businesses. Every community in North Carolina, large and small, welcomes small business. You just have to find the right person to talk to and ask them the questions, and they'll be quite helpful for you. 30 days out is time to have stock on board. Is whatever we're selling, we need to start getting it in, getting it priced, getting ready, training staff, learning about it, and starting maybe to do a soft opening. What is a soft opening? That's when you start a business easy. 1 or 2 new customers, follow it through. What you want to make sure is that everything's working. Your invoicing, your bookkeeping, your deposits, your marketing campaign, your understanding how to talk with the customers, all that has to be working. Because what you don't want to do is to have a big grand opening, bring in a lot of people, even if it's at a website, bring in a lot of new business, and you not be prepared to handle it. And at the end of the day, you have customers that have come and gone, and they don't have a smile on their face. No, that's bad. That means you have spent a lot of money and a lot of time bringing someone into your environment to disappoint them. We don't want to do that. Now, it is time for the grand opening. You may have to borrow some money, promote it. If you don't have a kickoff, it's the only time you're ever going to do it right. Make sure you've got your database and you're sending messages out to the right people. Remember, we can't be all things to all people, but we have to find out those target customer groups to send the information to them and make sure they know we're alive and well. Maybe you're saying, well, Steve, my business is, I've been messing around with it now for a year or two and 5 years or two, and I really had never had a grand opening. You know what's cool? Is a re-grand opening. There's nothing in the world that says you can't have another grand opening and do it up big time. And I encourage people to do that. Have a celebration because you're still here. Have a celebration because you've got a great group of employees and you're in a community that loves you. Let's celebrate that fact. Yeah, be happy and show people you are. And that is like being a magnet to bring people to you. Consider that re-grand opening. So there's a 6-month planner. It is in your handouts. It's a Word document, so you can erase and change and retype and fix it to suit your particular needs. Please take advantage of this. It's a good thing to do. Even if maybe you're not ready to write a business plan or don't feel like you need to, I encourage you to look at the next 6 months and write down what you'd like to accomplish in your business the next 6 months, and get in the habit of putting mileposts down and setting posts for your goals, and then seeing how well you're doing achieving them. Yeah, you may not get there, but you know what? You might exceed some of them, and we'll all find out how to do it. In your handout is this business plan template that I'm giving to you, where you just basically fill in the easy questions. Nothing there to slow you down, but you do it on your computer. Just type them in and make it look good. And now you're starting your business plan here. You're going to list down the products and solutions, things we just talked about. You know, talk about what is your company doing, and then say what problems are you solving, or what solutions are you bringing to the table. You want to think about that, because what you're doing is writing down here on paper exactly what you're going to tell the customers when you first meet them. You're writing down on paper here exactly the script for your introduction videos that you're going to be doing. So this is not a waste of time. This is an important chance that you're getting. Talk about where you want to serve and who your basic customer target groups are, and what are the most important seasons for your business, and how you're thinking about approaching those. What is your planned opening date, and what are you going to do anything special for it? Then now, if you're looking for a loan application, then you'll have a second piece of paper here that will basically address those particular needs, and what resources and tools have you already purchased, and what are the ones that you need to start up. How much money are you asking for, and how do you plan to use that money? Tell about the different types of profit centers that you're doing. Just right off that page you just finished, just list down your profit centers. And then beside it, we get into our business plan type stuff we'll talk about later tonight. What are the estimated revenues and expenses related to each profit center? What are the estimated revenue and expenses related to each profit center? Because we're going to take each one of them, add them up, and that'll help us build our business plan. Tell how much you've invested in your business to date, and how much more you need, and how you plan to go forward. Then basically you're going to have your signature and your date on it. You'll have a copy of your startup budget, which we'll do tonight, and your financial statement. Now, financial statement is basically a list of your assets and your debts and what your bottom line is. That's a form that you can get right off the internet, or I'll be glad to send you a blank on it. But with those three pieces of paper, your startup business plan template, your startup budget, and your financial statement, you've got enough to hand to a lender to start a conversation. Okay? Now, let's get down to some nitty-gritty here, which is budget planning. Business planning and budget planning are basically the same thing, but we'll approach it different ways. The business planning stuff was mainly what we just talked about before. And in a real sophisticated business plan, there'll be some more parts that you might add in, like market surveys and things like that. But getting started in a small business, what I gave you earlier, is quite sufficient for day one. But now to budget planning, let's get into it. The marketable profit centers are the various things that you're going to do to make money. I want you to have at least 5 of them. They're going to create cash flow for you, and the more cash flow you create, the better chance you'll have of having a marketable budget, a manageable budget. So we're going to list down all these profit centers. We're going to estimate what the income they're going to bring into the company is after expenses, and we're going to list them down to show what our overall estimated income is, and then we'll approach it from there. The tool we're going to use for this thinking to help us organize in our thoughts are just like the little Lego blocks that we all played with as children, or maybe still playing with our children now. But we're going to take these little Lego blocks and write stuff on the side, and then snap them together in a certain order, and end up with a business plan. That's it. That's what I'm talking about doing. So as in the slide here, we got a stack of blocks over here on the left and a stack on the right. The blocks on the left represent income, profit centers, things, marketable profit centers that are bringing in money. The items on the left are expenses, not expenses for those marketable profit centers, but regular overhead expenses. because the number that we write down on the income for each one of our profit centers is what's left. What's left after we subtract our expenses from our income for the individual profit center. Then we'll be able to look at these individual profit centers and know if they're making us money or not. And maybe we need to pull them out and replace them with something else. But in this plan, as usually a first-time plan starts out, we got some money for new customers coming in at $3,900. We got some package deals we're going to do for $21,900. We'll have some big ticket sales for $58,000. So we're going to take in $82,000. All right, taking in $82,000. That's a lot of money for a new outfit. So now let's look at what our expenses are. Well, we got some debt payments to make. We got some insurance payments to make. We got some labor and payroll expenses to pay. And we're going to pay out $137,000. It's a lot of money, especially when we only took in $82,000, which means that if we stay with this plan, we're going to lose almost $55,000. So this plan is pretty, and it's good from the standpoint it's giving us good information, but from the standpoint of business management, it needs some work. It's a fixer-upper, right? So we know that, but what's good is we know it in advance instead of waiting a year later to find out we've lost $100,000. By knowing in advance, we avoid those unexpected expenses and pitfalls. So now we know I got to jack this thing up to bring in at least $75,000 more money if I'm going to have a business plan that's in black ink. So let's find some new profit centers to bring us in $75,000. And then when we add those new profit centers in, by golly, we have moved our situation up to having a $20,000 surplus, or black ink, or profit, or margin, or whatever it is you want to call it. In other words, we've made $20,600 by increasing our marketable profit centers. We added 3 profit centers that brought us in $25,000 apiece. Now that's not $25,000 the total revenue it brought in. No, maybe they brought in $100,000 apiece, and we ended up with $25,000 apiece out of each one of them. So this is what's left from the profit center, not the profit for the whole thing. Then with the papers you got in your handouts, you list down one at a time these different profit centers that you've added into your plan and what the estimated margins is they're going to add to your pot. And then down at the bottom, you add in what your overhead costs, planned overhead costs are going to be. Do the math and see what happens. What we're not going to do is throw this plan away if it's not shows a profit down in the bottom corner. What we are going to do is figure out what needs to be changed. And my friends, I'll tell you that you'll do this every year of your business life, is make the adjustments to stay in black ink. That's entrepreneurship, and that's what we have to do. That was looking at it as if we were running a for-profit business. But now let's consider we're looking at a non-profit business. That is to say, our business is a non-profit type. It doesn't mean it's not going to make profit. It doesn't mean that you can't get a salary out of it. What it does mean is it has a different status under the tax laws, different categories, different things that you have to do. So making money there is different. And indeed, I've given you a lot of handouts. And if you want to go with a nonprofit, or you want to learn more about it, first of all, look at these handouts I've given you and videos included in it. And then if you want to pursue it, I suggest you give Bart a call or your local small business center director and say, I want to have a meeting with you, and you tell me do's and don'ts about starting a nonprofit. But before you do that, do your homework first so you at least know what they're talking about when you get there. Lots of information I've given to you just free, and you can go for it. Different websites, different links, such as that. So nonprofits are different types of groups. And you may already be a member of a nonprofit and didn't know it. Maybe you're a member of the PTO or PTA at your child's school, or American Legion or VFW or the Lions or Kiwanis. They're all nonprofit organizations. Maybe a member of a church or a faith-based group that's nonprofit. And lots of nonprofits out here in the world. And indeed, you can have a nonprofit. You can be a nonprofit. It's not as difficult as some people would make it out to be. But if you are a nonprofit, you're going to generate your funds differently than marketable profit centers that we talked about earlier. You'll be after donors and fundraising drives and foundation grants and things like that. So your income will be coming in different ways, but still you don't need to plan it, have it all down and create a budget. You'll be able to have all kinds of different fundraiser events to help raise money for your business. And here's where I tell you, there's no reason that you can't have fundraising events to help raise money for your business. There's no reason that you can't have fundraising as well. It just won't be, it'll be taxable. Where with the nonprofits, it's not taxable. People can't use the money they pay as a tax deduction. For you, where if they give money to the nonprofit in a fundraiser, it can be a tax-deductible contribution for. But neither mind, sometimes having fundraising is the best thing you can do to get your business jump-started in a business. There's no reason right now, well, there may be some reasons I don't know about, but for example, Robbie at James Trading Company could have a music festival right there at his store in his huge parking lot and charge admission for folks to come in and maybe make a whole lot of money doing it, and there's no reason not to. Okay, it's still a way to make money in his business, and while people are there, they'll probably spend a lot of money at the hardware store. Just an idea out of the blue, but it's that type of thing sometimes that put lots of big bucks in businesses' profits just because they tried something new, something to think about, something to go for. So give that some thought. So we have a local nonprofit, a good friend of mine, and this is a Clinton-based nonprofit, has shared their budgets with me. I'm not going to dive into them deep, but basically showing you the kind of monies and the way that nonprofits write their budgets and plan their businesses. So you can see here a 23 and a 24 budgets that have been put in. And we can see that they're moving right along, whether net income and loss-wise, basically saying that they had a $19,000 loss in one year, and the next year planning on a $7,200 gain. So that's a good thing to do. Here's the pictures of how it worked out. In 23, what the income was, and I've got it all listed down, and what the expenses were. We spent more money than we made last year, so the plan this year. And that's what people do is you rewrite your budgets and you make your adjustments, just like I talked about earlier, to move into making the nonprofit end up to be sustainable. In other words, bringing in more money than we're spending out. So the 2024 budget was changed to the point, and more money was brought in, and this is on target this year. I think they're doing real well that will do this and hopefully pay all their bills and do what they want to do and end up with about $7,300 left over. That's a good thing, and that's the way that you want to do it. The message is, just because you're losing money this year doesn't mean you throw your plan away. You do what you're doing good. Look at the best things and you improve on those, increase them, and keep a positive attitude to move forward. How do you do all that? You be savvy and you make adjustments. You don't panic. You be smart, you make adjustments, and you move forward. And that's going to be true in nonprofits and regular businesses. Now, there's two kinds of businesses that we need to focus on. There's actually 3 or 4 different types, but the main ones for us are going to be selling products, and then selling services, and then other type of businesses might be commission basis type businesses. But we're going to focus on selling products and selling services. How do you make money? How do you do your models? How do we do these models, these blocks that I was talking about? Well, for each one of our marketable profit centers, we're going to come up. We'll start out with a sheet of paper or a computer file, whatever you're going to do. We want to list down what we're selling, what the income will be, what we're going to sell them for, how many of each of them we're going to sell, because volume plays into each one. Then we're going to estimate our expenses. and total expenses. And after we do that, we'll go down to the bottom of the page and say, all right, we sold this amount, we had to pay this amount, what's left? And now what's left, what do we going to call that number again? Let's don't call it profit. Let's call it margin, because this is what's left in this particular business model, this particular item. So let's see how we can apply that. Now, let's pretend that we are all together getting into a used car business. The used car businesses usually do quite well, and there are a lot of them around, so you'll have lots of competition. But there's people buying used cars every day, and lots of them. So how does this business work? Well, maybe you hadn't noticed it, but in every fairly large town, there is an automobile auction company, an auction going on, where people are going to turn their cars in at the auction company, and then buyers come and look at it and bid on them, and the higher bidders buy the car. All right? This happens all the time. You can even watch it happen on TV. There's some auction companies on the cable channels now. So the cars come in through the building, as is shown here in the slide. People over on the left-hand side, standing up over there, they're the buyers. They're the bidders. People on the right-hand side, they're the auctioneers. They own the auction company. Notice the big room out here at the back. What auction companies either have a big room or a big lot where before the auction starts, the bidders or the buyers come and they walk around and they look and they kick the tires, open the doors, open the hood, listen to the engine run. They look over the vehicles real closely, and those vehicles that they want to bid on, they'll make a list of them. And then when they know that vehicle is going to be pulled through the auction house that we're seeing here, they'll walk in there with their papers and documents and they'll bid on those different cars. That's right. Now, they're not going to bid on every car. Then they're not going to bid but a certain amount on each car they bid on, and they know what that figure is before they get in there. Because if you're in business, you're going to know what the fair market value is, and you're not going to bid above. You're going to make sure that your bid is well below fair market value so that you can sell the vehicle at or above fair market value when you leave. If you don't know fair market value, you're going to get in trouble in a big hurry. And this is a really good example of what I'm talking about. Know what fair market value is in your business. So here we are, we're up here bidding. They buy the cars, and then they take them back to Clinton or to Dunn or to Gastonia, and they put them on a lot, put flags on them and signs, and do a lot of selling and hoop and hollering and try to sell these cars, right? That's how the used car business works. Now, the back end of this story is if they don't sell that car, usually within 60 or 90 days, when they go back to the auction to buy some more, they're going to drive that car back and let somebody else buy it. And if they bought it below fair market value, there's a good chance they can get their money back. There you go. That's why fair market value comes into play so often. So everything's going along well. They have bought cars. And in the car business, like in every other business, there's categories of different things that you buy and sell. And that will be your different business model. So this different business model, this Lego block, are for used cars that sell in the $6,000 bracket. Used cars that sell in the $6,000 bracket. That's that certain bracket. And this used car dealer, like most that have a decent sized community and a good inventory, will sell about 15 cars this size a month. About 15, $6,000 cars a month, which will generate them $540,000 in a 6-month period. Hey, $540,000, that's $500,000. It adds up in a hurry, doesn't it? And this is just one class of car. So the rest of the story is when they were back at the auction, they were buying that car and knew from minute one they were not going to pay more than $4,000 for that vehicle. Not more than $4,000 for it, because they plan to sell it for $6,000 or more, and they're not going to pay more than $4,000 for it because they've got overhead to pay, transportation costs to pay, and if they have to carry it back, maybe lose some interest on that money. But they will pay $4,000 for a car they're planning on selling for $6,000. When they bought 90 of them, they spent $360,000. 360 is what was out of pocket to bring in 540. When they did that, that means $180,000 worth of margin came with the deal. So with that one profit center, it was 90 cars, but this one profit center generated $180,000 revenue for the overall money in the business. What do we call that? Not profit, that's margin. So that's an example of how one group of cars at a used car dealership, how it would play into the business plan. They have other blocks that say cars that sell for $10,000 or cars that sell for 20 or 15 or 50. I don't know those. Or it may be boats, it may be pickup trucks, it may be work trucks. All these different categories of cars will generate X amount of money for that business. And it's a very lucrative business. And if you've got the money to start with, it's not very risky. Even people walking by and saying, man, this is a risky business. But what takes the risk out of it? Having the knowledge of how to evaluate your cars, number one, and number two is buying below fair market value and buying above fair market value. And in this business, you've got these blue books after different books that really help you out with determining what fair market value is. Okay, that's buying and selling products. Now, a lot of us are going to be buying and selling time. Maybe we sell some products, but most of what we're selling is time, like doing inspections or giving webinars or mowing grass or pressure washing or painting houses or being a dentist or being a doctor or being a lawyer. We have some of us are selling time for money. And that's kind of risky in getting started. And how are you going to know that you're making money? I've got a simple solution to help you get started, and that is base your business plan on making your money 4 days a week. 4 days a week, 4 weeks a month, or in other words, you're going to meet your business plan obligations in 16 days every month. And like that fair market value thing was so important in buying and selling products, what is the most important tool that you will have in selling time for money? It's your calendar. Your calendar is your management tool to making sure you meet your goals in your business plan. So a simple calendar would simply list the 4 Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, put some dates on them, and say, I'm going to make my budget working 4 days a week. Now the key here is, what happened to the other 3 days? Well, that gives you a day, number one, to make up for what happened when things didn't work out. That gives you another day to go to the store, buy things, do your personal business. That gives you another day to be with your family, with your loved ones, go to church, do things, have a life. That gives you more time to promote your business, do other things besides meet and work with customers to promote your business. Maybe another day to start another business. In other words, be structured enough that you can have a life and make your business goals come together at the same time. This is a process that you start and you keep improving on. Now let's say to Sarita, if you don't mind, we'll use you, Sarita. You've told me you want to make $2,400 a week. You want to end up with $2,400 a week, and that's the deal. That we don't have a plan. It might have been $24,000 or it might have been $240, but because it's easy to work with, let's use $2,400 a week. So for you to do that, and we're going to do this in a 4-day period, that means we need to be generating $600 a day, right? So how are we going to go about doing that? I'm going to say to you that in the bottom right-hand side here is the $2,400, which is our goal. And I know that different people that we work with, different types of clients, will pay us different money. And as I'm talking to people and giving them estimates on what it's going to cost or how to plan to do this or that, some will do us giving jobs worth $150 a day. Some would be $100 a day, maybe some $50 jobs a day, and such as that. So as I am bringing in business, I don't plug that particular customer into a slot in my in my calendar to make sure that I don't get my 600 a day and 2,400 a week. If you've been to a dentist office anytime recently and you made an appointment with them, I will guarantee you that they stayed in touch with you weekly to make sure to remind you about that appointment, because they wanted you and your butt in that seat at a certain time. And they will hound you until you do. And if you do cancel or change, they'll want to know when can you come back. Because just like at the dentist office, your business needs to be bringing in a certain amount of money each week. So the dentist will put people in one chair all day long that are $200 clients or $50 clients. They know, looking at that calendar, if they're doing good or bad by how much revenue is being generated on a certain day. We need to think the same way as small business owners selling time for money. The beauty of this is, as you move forward, you can, through the months and the years, you can move customers from one slot to another, depending on what the revenues you're generating are, to fill up your budget. And the best news is, when you fill up your calendar, it's time for you to hire an associate and start on the second calendar. If you're in the grass mowing business, it's time to put on another crew and start another crew going on. So you gauge when you need to expand when you're able to complete your calendars, which is a question a lot of people ask me. Now, let's say that you're going to be in a graphic design business and doing work, and you need that $600 a day for 96 days in a 6-month period. That'll bring you in $57,600. And if your daily cost is $200 a day, that means your cost in that 6-month period is $19,200. Therefore, your revenues, your margin, will be $38,000 in a 6-month period, or $76,000 in an annual period. That's your margin. So it's easy to see that with good management and bringing the customers in a regular way, that repeat business, that sustainable repeat business is so important that you can earn pretty big bucks pretty quickly. So how would that work out? Exactly the same way. We would look at our different types of customers and our different types of profit centers, put those figures on the blocks, do the same thing with the expenses. First time we do it, we're probably going to lose money, and we're going to need to go back and redo them. But the same project, the same type of logic goes. We'll take our different Lego blocks, take the numbers off the margins to see what our overall margin estimates are, and our expense estimates, and the bottom line on the right is what's left. That's putting together a business plan pretty effectively, very simple. I've given you a little worksheet of just a little image here that if you just want to print this out and start making footnotes, it's just a notepad is all this is good for you to start making notes and estimates to help you think of the different things that you might have with expenses or revenues. Wrapping this up, what are things that are easy to forget? It's easy to forget that we have to pay those taxes. And it's also easy to forget that we need to pigeonhole tax money when it comes in and not spend it. It's easy to forget that we have to pay interest. That's an extra charge above normal. So if you've got something where you're having to pay interest in, make sure that goes in your plan. To get insurance, yeah, we have to make that initial premium, and that usually goes into your startup expenses. But I want to remind you, we got to put that insurance in there every month because there's going to be monthly premiums to pay as well. Don't make the mistake not to plan to save some money. Plan to put some money aside. And the biggest mistake that me and the rest of us make is say, hey, man, everything's rocking along smooth. Everything's perfect. We stop being savvy. We quit being mindful. We turn our radar off and whammy. So keep your radar turned on because things won't stay perfect all the time. There's always a curveball out there. Your success is our goal. We'll do all we can to help you reach your goal every way that we possibly can. In long-term success, rules really make a difference. And we've laid down some pretty hard rules here tonight, things that you can't change a lot of. But I want to come back and remind us, as I did earlier, that we got to stay within the rules, but we can't be so rigid that we forget about relationships. that we forget about talking to our customer and listening to our customer and letting them be right to the point that we understand what they're saying. Creating those relationships will help keep you in business. Big time, small town, small business. It's relationships. Next week, our focus is going to be on marketing. And we'll talk about the Golden Goose marketing campaign. And the Golden Goose campaign teaches us not only do we work hard and go through the process of getting that order and getting paid and making that deposit, but that's just halfway. The rest of the story is getting that customer information, plugging it into the database, and then following up with the customer to make sure they're satisfied or have a communication with them. And then the most important thing happens, which we'll call the magic marketing moment. The magic marketing moment is when you get to say to the customer, tell me that you're 100% satisfied, and if not, what we need to do better. Didn't you mention you were going to be buying something pretty soon, and when was that, and what's it going to be, or you know someone that's going to do this or do that? Your relationship building through that magic marketing moment lets the customer give you the feedback you and I need to plan the future of our business. To plan to have the right inventory at the right time, at the right size, at the right price. When we're doing that, customers will keep coming back to us. They'll be raving fans. And maybe the economy may go down, it may go up. And maybe business won't be as booming as we want it to be, but it'll be substantial enough that we can maintain and stay in business for a better day. That's entrepreneurship. That's staying in the game for the long-term sustainability. I want to tell you it's been a pleasure to work with y'all tonight. Matthew and Altrice, good to have you on board. Sarita, as always, thank you. I appreciate your comments. Turn on your mics and tell me what's going on. And we'll look forward to tomorrow. I'll send you a video recording of this, and we'll pick it up for the next session. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. There's Matthew. Talk to me.
Thank you.
All right. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good. Look forward to meeting you. You're close enough we can shake hands one day. Have you been to, you ever been to James Trading Company?
Go there right often.
How about that? Well, tell Robbie we talked about him.
I sure will. Thank you.
All right. You take care as well. Sarita, I hope you have a great week, and I hope your grandbaby's doing well.